pressed so hard they could not stand. Let my people go, go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell, O Pharaoh, let my people go.
Don't forget that slavery, theoretically, in its purest form, is absolute power of one person over another person.
And it is from this power that was given away to the great persecution to the African American culture. Indentured servants were brought to America as early as the 16th century, and along with them, a contract to work for a number of years. This usually lasted about 7, and after this they were released from their contract and freed. However, as time went on, this became faded and grew into slavery, a very dangerous way of life to anyone. More and more Africans were brought and placed in the shackles of slavery without any mercy. You were not allowed to drink, eat, talk, or even think for yourself unless the slave master instructed.
How I hated slavery, as it fettered me and beat me and baffled me in my desires. In my period of despair, it gave me the power to hate, but in the end, it also gave me the will and the courage to conquer or die. John P. Parker, former slave, 1845.
Slave trading had become a business.
Negroes for sale. A cargo of very fine, stout men and women in good order and fit for immediate service. Conditions are one half cash or produce, the other half due January next.
And it was through this that a silent cry was echoed in every slave community for freedom, thus resulting in their journey into the Underground Railroad. So what is the Underground Railroad? How was it built? Who helped? The Underground Railroad is not an actual railroad with tracks. It is a metaphor for the pathway to freedom. The slaves were uneducated, but were aware of the areas where slavery was not strictly enforced. Spanish Florida was a safe haven. The North offered a dim hope of freedom, and Canada was free land. But the West, though an option, felt dangerous and undiscovered. The early slaves found these pathways with the help of the Native Americans. Since the natives knew the routes and the pathways, and the slaves knew English and the white ways, it became a business arrangement. As more pathways were discovered, the routes became common knowledge among the free slaves. They eagerly helped others and passed that knowledge on. Many non-African American people assisted by setting up safe houses, secret messages, code words, clandestine markings, and songs that were shared in the slave community, one of which was Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was born in 1820 in Maryland and was beaten and abused on a daily basis. However, during 1849, Harriet escaped when her own owner became ill and died. She crossed into Pennsylvania borderland and into Philadelphia. Because of the Gradual Abolition Act of 1780, Pennsylvania had outlawed slavery, and Harriet was finally free.
I looked at my hands to see if I was the same person now I was free. There was such a glory over everything. I felt like I was in heaven. Harriet Tubman.
She further risked her life, going back 19 times to the South and freed 319 slaves. It was 1820, and the abolition of slavery movement had started. America was feeling a second Great Awakening, and the religious leaders spoke out against the hypocrisy of slave owning. One such American was a Presbyterian minister named John Rankin. He placed a glowing lantern in the window of his home and encouraged others to do the same in his community. This signal was a secret message over the river that whispered that this was a safe house, a house where they could receive food, lodging, and care if they were to come. This was done in Ripley, Ohio, which became a city glowing with lanterns in almost every house.
And according to several sources, including Harriet Beecher Stowe herself, it was Ripley that the real-life Eliza Harris was trying to reach when she plunged into the icy waters of the Ohio River with her baby in her arms.
Many people were unaware of this type of desperation for freedom in slavery. Rankin's efforts also inspired a journalist named William Lloyd Garrison. Garrison owned his own newspaper called The Liberator.
Let every man and woman bear testimony against the system which fills the prisons of a free republic with men whose only crime is a love of freedom. William Lloyd Garrison, 1850.
The Underground Railroad was more than just a pathway. Because slaves could not send or receive any mail, nor could they assemble anywhere outside of church, it opened a gateway for letters to be received. Black churches became post offices, and black sailors were the delivery men. Songs were also used in order to deliver messages through the grapevine. They used this way to communicate to others that did not know. These songs became a map and a pathway on how to find the Underground Railroad. Another prominent figure in the fight against slavery, and a major part of the abolitionist movement, is Frederick Douglass. Born in Maryland's Eastern Shore in 1808, Douglass was the son of a slave woman and her white master. He escaped slavery at the age of 20, but his most influential skill was the ability to give powerful, persuasive, and effective speeches.
The wife of Master Giles Hicks, with her own hands, murdered my wife's cousin, a young girl between 15 and 16 years of age, mutilating her person in the most shocking manner. The atrocious woman, in the paroxysm of her wrath, not content with murdering her victim, literally mangled her face and broke her breastbone. So I say, the only true remedy for the extension of slavery is the immediate abolition of slavery. Frederick Douglass, 1845.
Douglass went on to write many autobiographies and give lectures. He became the first African American to hold a high rank in the U.S. government. But unfortunately, he died of a heart attack at the age of 77 on February 20th, 1895. There were many people that were known to help with the abolition of slavery and assisting with the Underground Railroad. There are many that are also unknown and lost to history. And on December 6, 1865, Congress passed the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery in all the United States. The railroad story continues on through the communities, through the songs and stories of the past. It has become a story of persecution, pain, desperation, strife, secrecy, but ultimately a story of freedom.